Can you please tell me what today is?
Today's Monday.
I know. Okay, but the day, the year, in English and Hebrew?
You lost me on that. It must
Look
be,
at the paper, 21.
no, it's the 20th, it's the 22nd, and it's Cheshvan, but I don't know what the date is.
22nd.
You have to look on the, you have to look on the newspaper. What it says,
What's the Hebrew dates?
Well, Hebrew and English, please.
it says November 21st, 205. It's Monday, 19 Cheshvan, 5766. 5766.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And can you please say your mother's name?
Menucha.
Menucha.
Safta Menucha.
Doda Menucha. Well, maybe your
Well, it's grandchildren call it Safta.
Safta. Okay. Okay, Doda Menucha. Can you please tell us about your parents?
I can understand from Han. What do you speak?
Talk about your parents.
Okay, my parents. If you will read the Kibbutzer, you will find out that my father was in the Japanese-American War, and he went without leave to go home and visit my mother because he was homesick for her. Unfortunately, he got back in time before he was caught. As I said to you, if you go read the Kibbutzer, you'll find all about everybody and everything, and I wouldn't even have to talk. They came to the United States. Is it?
That Manapa. That's them. That was from 1949 when they were married. When they were married for 50 years.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And my father was a very religious man, and if you'll see on that picture, he's wearing a hat. He always wore a hat, even at the Seder. In the Seder pictures.
Yeah.
What can you find the Seder picture?
Oh. Yeah, but you have a Seder picture. You sent us one of the pictures.
Yeah,
you sent us from the
Pesach,
picture album.
yeah.
Was a picture from the Seder. Picture from the Seder, and I'm sure we identified it to be sent to everybody that well, you would know all better
No,
than
I
I.
told you we could avoid all this if we'll just go home, just
Okay.
get a hold of borrow the Kibbutzers from Lewis and spend a month reading them.
Spend a month reading.
They came to the United States.
Take them one by one.
About what year did they come to the United
Came
States?
to the United States in 1914, a year or
1914.
so before I was born. They came with 5 girls. I mean, they said like each other and Benjamin.
Yeah.
They came with
Esther, Lee, Sally, Dorothy, and Ann.
Esther, Dorothy, Lee, Sally, Ann.
Yeah.
And we have darling pictures of them, and looking like little Russian schoolgirls.
Oh, I love that picture.
And my father worked as a tailor. Actually, in Russian, the reason they left was he knew there was another war coming up, and he didn't want to be enlisted again. Secondly, he was doing tailoring for the Tsar's army, and if you know your Russian history, the Tsar was and his family were assassinated.
They were overthrown, and then a year and a half later they were assassinated. Yeah.
Do you know in your Siddurim you have a prayer for the government?
Yes.
You
Still have that book?
Yeah. And I have one of their Siddurim that is praying for the Russian government and for
Tsar
the
Nicholas and his
family.
wife
Yeah, it's
Alexandrova.
it's a brand siddur if you want to get it. And my father continued as a tailor here. He worked for a firm. However, he set up a little tailoring unit in one of the rooms of our house and did private work at night and called that his tzedakah money. And we were very poor. We were a family full of love. To give you an example of being poor, when you lost a tooth, people find a penny, children would find a penny, we found a hard candy. So I always say we were poor in money but rich in love.
Mm-hmm.
What else you want to know?
Okay.
Is this one that was in the plastic bag? Wait a second.
This is the Siddur?
Siddur. It's made in Poland. It's printed in 1913 in Vilna. In Vilna over here.
Here, let me read the...
And it says over here, this is the prayer for the government.
Prayer
for the government. Tfilah ba'ad shalom adonenu akesar. What is Yud?
What's his name?
Kesar, and then it says, the prayer goes on, and here it is, the Kesar, Nikolovitz, Alexandrovich, Imishto, HaKesarit, Akvura, whatever her Russian name was, and for the Eurasia Oathser, the Crown Prince, Alexei Nikolovich, and all the Kola Beit Makut, and all the children. This is the prayer for the government. The sitter is well worn, as you can see, from 19.
It was
from 19. Yeah. And it says in the description here, May 1936, to Minnie on her 21st. To Minnie on her 21st round. Look at the poor book.
I know. I'm trying to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough.
Wait. To
Minnie.
1936.
Yeah. The Ari from Tzfat, the Kabbalist from Tzfat, and he apparently had apparently is a certain prayer in the Sachari.
And the was always confused. It was May there, right?
Yeah.
When
We celebrate April the 19th.
Yes, but then first was May 27. But when I got a birth certificate, it said April 19. So I changed all my records to April 19. And I think the discrepancy is because that year they looked up the Hebrew date and it was May 27th.
Okay.
Well, now my birthday, and now I go by the Hebrew date, which is coincidentally Yom Ha'atzmaut.
Yeah. So 5th of Iyar, the 5th of Iyar, which is also the Independence Day of the State of Israel.
Okay. Let me ask you a couple questions now.
Go ahead.
Okay. When did you and Uncle Joe? Okay.
When what?
When did you come to Israel?
As I told...
But I'm just saying...
Wait a minute, I'll tell you something. For my anniversary,
Mhm.
Shmuel's and Hinda's son, Noam, called me, and I happened to say that Thursday's our lucky day. We were married on a Thursday.
Uh-huh.
Our children were both born on Thursday, and we came to Israel on a Thursday.
That's
and
amazing.
Thursday in Ivrit is Yom HaMashiach, the
Yom
fifth
HaMashiach.
day of the week.
Mhm.
And Noam took the Yom HaMashiach, and in the Chumash, he looked up all nice things that happened on Yom HaMashiach and talked about it that way at my birthday.
That's interesting.
We came in 1975.
But Ellis came first, right?
Ellis and, who you came first? Who came?
Ellis came first.
Ellis came in
68 to Kibbutz Lavi.
and he
He was part of the Garin, the American Garin, who went to Kibbutz Lavi. He was single at the time, and that's where he met Leah. Leah's family lives on the kibbutz. He and Shmuel came at the same time. They were both bachelors. They were only two bachelors. Every other couples were already married, and they were the last ones to come. Actually, that's not true, but never mind. There was another Chicago. But she left the kibbutz. And they were in the same room together. Conditions of those times were much different. Conditions in Israel were different in those times, and the conditions on the kibbutz were different in those times, and they were in the same, they shared the same room together in the apartment, and the kid, they were in the same apartment together, and I came to visit them in 1969, in September of 1969, I came before Rosh Hashanah, and I stayed till the middle of November. I'd never been to Israel before. Ellis and Shmuel and most of the people were on a work-study program called Hakshara, and they spent time on the kibbutz and working and studying, and in those days you need parental permission, and they wouldn't sign for me when it came my turn to go, so I came to visit in 1969, and where I was reacquainted. I knew most of the Americans from summer camp, and Shmuel and I renewed our acquaintance, I guess you could say, and we got married. Shmuel came back to America, we got married.
In March of 97.
In March of 1970, we went back to the kibbutz, and then
and then Leon and Hinda got married.
And Leon Ellis got married in June of 1970, and Uncle Milton was going to come. That's what I remember when he passed away.
Right.
Uncle Milton was going to come with Ali and Esther. She didn't want to travel.
Was going to come with BB.
Anyway, Uncle Milton was going to come, and he passed away just before they got married. which must have been May, I guess, end of May or beginning of June.
Just before we came.
Before he was going to come to the wedding, but he didn't make it because he passed away. And actually, Dorothy, if I can backtrack a little bit, Dorothy, after Uncle Harry passed away in 1968 or something, January, Aunt Dorothy moved from Kansas City to moved in with my parents. And when Milton passed away, Dorothy moved in with Esther. And then when Milton passed away, and then when Esther herself passed away, she moved down to Florida to be near Altie and Sally and Harry. But anyway, getting back to us on the kibbutz, my parents came in March of 1975, which is a Thursday, as you said.
Right.
And they spent a short time on the kibbutz getting acclimated and
we had to wait for our shipment.
Yes, they had to wait for the shipment that came, the lift that came.
And we're living.
These two chairs that we're sitting on belonged to Aunt Dorothy, and she brought them with her from Kansas City. And she lived in a house in Marnet Road. And
a year. She lived with
a little over, must have been about a year and a half, I guess.
Our mom turned to talk. And we're in this apartment, in the town, and in this apartment, because on the 8th floor are a couple who we grew up with. We've been friends with them with him really, until she got married. So we've really been friends with him. Our families were friends with each other. And they came, they're younger, a couple of years younger than us, and they came 2 years before us. And when they heard we were coming, this apartment was for sale, and they told the owner to hold it till we got here. Okay, what else you want to know?
Me too.
Okay, Doda, please tell us about your brothers and sisters.
Esther was absolutely beautiful. Who had, I guess B has her picture.
She looks like Esther.
So the oldest is Esther.
She married young, I don't remember when, which year, but she married Milton, and they had a grocery store. And we used to go there for vacations when we were little, because there's a vast difference in age between Esther and me. B is almost my age, not quite, but almost.
B's her daughter.
B is right. I think he knows that. Anyway,
just for the
I'm
record.
sure we were a nuisance to them when I was going there for summer vacations, but they were very wonderful, and we made it up for them because Esther and Milton used to come to us for the Jewish holidays, Rosh Hashanah and Pesach, and they loved it very much because Hinda and Alice and we sit around the table and sing, and even after she was widowed, when she lived with Dorothy, as Hinda said, they also used to come to us for all the holidays. And they have Charlie's the oldest one, and he's very popular in sports figures, and then they have B.
He's older than Charlie, isn't he?
What?
Isn't B older than Charlie?
I think you're right. I think you're right. B is first. B was born first. Yes, you're right. B was born first and then Charlie. You want a genealogy of their children and all? Is that what
That's fine.
You want all that? B has Kenny and Marion and Susan, who's not married. The other two are. And Charlie has one daughter, Debbie, who's very devoted in writing long letters and sending pictures, and so is B. I'm so thankful and appreciative. In most families, once the grandparents die, let's say that's the first generation die, all right, so my generation keep up the family get-togethers, but my generation, Helen, was gone, and I'm very grateful that the cousins are still getting together, like Aaron stopping at B, for example. In my family, they're keeping very close with each other, which is very unusual, and I'm really very thankful for that. Okay, next in line is Dorothy. She went to visit an uncle in Kansas City and met Harry, and got married there. And there's an interesting story about that. You were talking about the citizenship papers.
Yeah.
When he was
yeah, that's right.
When he was asked to list the children who are at home, Dorothy was not at home, so she's not even on his listed on the citizens paper. Just the other girls were, And she literally was not a citizen when she was voting all the years, and then she found out about it, and her lawyer quietly made her a citizen, so they wouldn't have to read.
I think that happened when Anne and Herman Lazurnik wanted to come for a visit to Israel, and
they needed a citizen.
and they needed to prove they had a birth certificate or something, so they took Zeta Louise citizens papers and they listed all the children except for Dorothy. And Annie says, "This is me," and then they realized that Dorothy wasn't listed. And this was well after they'd already passed away. I guess they passed away.
Okay, next is Lee. And you wanted Hebrew names. Esther, of course, is Esther. Dorothy is Deborah. Lee is Leah. And Lee helped set up the Social Security system in the United States. She was really a big shot. And she married Harry. I don't know how they met, but he was...
No,
Manny, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lee married Manny, who had a big position with MIT, and I think even worked with the government on radar. And they once visited Russia. If you want little stories,
Please.
Russia. And Lee was taking notes for their local community newspaper, and insured him. And once somebody asked in Russia, when Russia was a communist country, and somebody said they liked to look at it, and she never got it back. It was a communist country, and they wouldn't just send it back.
they thought it was a secret code or something like that.
Right. They thought she was fine. And next is your grandmother, and her original name was Sophie, which she didn't like, and in Hebrew it's Sonia, and she changed it to Sally. And how she met your father, I don't know.
Grandfather.
Your grandfather, Harry. But in those days, I'm going to be very frank, in a mixed marriage like that, the parents would reject the son-in-law. But my mother and father were very tolerant, let's say, and they figured if they reject Harry, they would lose their daughter. So they accepted him, and I want to tell you, he was a very, very wonderful son-in-law and a brother-in-law. When Joe and I would go to New York, they lived in
Lyndhurst, I think it was
they
called
lived in New
Lyndhurst,
York first.
which was a very short trip to go to
And
Port Authority.
They were very poor, really poor, and yet we would stay with them. And when they moved to New Jersey and we went to the World Fairs, we would stay with them. And when we went to Florida, no, we didn't stay with them then, but we certainly visited. But he was really a wonderful husband, and a wonderful grandfather, and a wonderful, really both of them, very devoted. Sally came up for your wedding. Harry couldn't make it.
Did she come up? I don't remember. I have to look at the pictures.
Yeah, no, Sally came up for your wedding. But we were a very close-knit family. Look, I told them we were poor, but with a lot of love. And how your father met Carol, your mother, I don't know. But as I said, they were very devoted to my parents, your great-grandparents. And that's why each of you, except for you, are named after my parents. Aaron's from Arya Leib, Lou is from Arya Leib, Faye is Faya.
How about Mitchell?
And Mitchell is an uncle, Uncle Michal in Kansas City. Uncle Michal in Kansas City, right? Yeah.
His name was Rainin. I think Bobby
my
Finney's name was, her maiden name was Rose, wasn't it Rose? Rainin, but he changed it to Rose.
Right, yes, right. Okay, who did I love to? Sally,
Altie and
Ann. Ann met Herman, I don't know how, and she changed her name to Annette. She didn't like Annie. And then Frida's kind of very simple. And they made a trip to Israel on one of the boats, Queen Mary, I think it was.
People, I guess, didn't fly in those days.
And
I remember when she came back, they must have been in some hotel, and she stole towels from, I think it was the Dan Hotel, Dan Panorama in Haifa. Oh.
Anyway,
we said, what? Yeah, we were shocked. She stole towels from the
we were all
hotel.
very, very close. And Well, let's get back to children. Dorothy has Larry and Jerry.
Maurice and Jerry.
Maurice and Jerry, right?
And Linda Ray.
And Linda Ray. And Lee has
Judy,
Tanya and David and Judy. And your grandparents.
Judy's retired and living in New York, and Tanya lives in Boston, and David's a jazz musician.
This is going to take more than half an hour. Let's
the jazz musician.
Let's skip. Okay, you know, I met my husband, Joseph, through we grew up each of us in a very religious side in the city, as families. There was a religious side of the city as well, and we met through what's called then Mizrahi Youth, and that Dave mentioned it. My husband helped set up the B'nai Akiva in Baltimore through Ellis and Hinda, and that's who, and Altu. Altu was married a couple of times. Poor guy, he really didn't have luck. And
somebody said, I don't know who said it, somebody said he may have been lucky in life, but he was unlucky in love.
Right.
Something
anyway,
like that.
Charlotte, the mother of his children, Maris and Rena.
Maris and Shelley and Rena.
Right. Always kept very close to the family. And
She said she loved Bobby, Fanny, and Zayda Louie very much.
So through, so even today, when they have family get-togethers, she makes sure through her children, she knows about it and comes. And Uncle Flash, whose name was really Jaime, who changed it to Herman, and then he agreed as Chaim, married Ethel, and thank God they're still living. I should say Uncle Hashalom on the others.
Yeah.
And
So did the Tuxter.
right. And you know, you see them. Have you been in Baltimore?
Yes, yes. For the reunion.
So you know them. Okay, that's a family. What else you want to do? I'm going to give you things to put on the table.
Okay, so this picture right here is
This is my mother's 90th birthday party. This was in April. This is Shmuel, this is Shmuel, my husband. This is me, Shmuel, my husband. Our daughter-in-law, Ayelet, Ellis, my brother Ellis. This is my granddaughter Or, sitting next to me. This is my married son Noam. This is the father of Hallel, who's 5.5. Or, who's 4.5.
Where's your fingers at?
You got that? My fingers in the way. Yeah.
No, I'm trying to find your fingers.
Okay.
Go ahead.
And they have another baby who was sleeping in her carriage. This is Leah. Leah belongs to Ellis. Over here, this is their oldest daughter, Orit. And this is her husband, Ranan. They live on the kibbutz. And this is their children, Netzer, who's 11. Netzer. And this is Yogev, that's pointing his finger, who's about 9 or 8 or 9. And this is Shiraz. Shiraz is 5.
Okay.
And this is their son Abichai, with the 2 children. Abichai, he lives in Yerushalayim. I think he works for computers, whatever. This is the daughter Smadar. Smadar also lives in Yerushalayim. This is the son Yariv, who's studying at Hebrew University his 2nd year. This is the daughter Avital, who's instead of doing the army is doing 2nd year of Sirut Leumi. And this is our daughter Tzila, who works in the kitchen of the kibbutz. And this is our son Batzal, who works with the cows. He loves his cows, cows and the calves. And I think that's everybody. This is outside Ellis's house.
Okay.
I'm going to
Can you tell
explain
me-
to you the significance.
Okay.
This is Russian. Her name was Faya Reinen.
This is part of her trousseau.
Reinen. Yes, this is an actor from her trousseau. That means FR. The crown, well, let's say the birds are significant. Joe and I took a course once on this. Are significance of starting a new life. The crown over the initials comes from Pirkei Avot, but I have to see, I wrote it on the back.
Crown is a good name.
Right. It comes from Pirkei Avot, chapter 4, sentence 17. It says there are 3 crowns, learning, priesthood, and royalty, but a good name excels them all. And that's why the crown is above the... No, can I get that big? This is string. Can you get it? Oh,
So that originally belonged to, again, who?
That belongs to Bobby Fanny.
Bobby
Fanny.
Fanny.
Bobby Fanny made this for her trousseau. everything was done.
And as I told Cook before,
Mhm.
you can tell the significance. Joe's parents, my children call them formally, Bobby Fanny and Bobby Captain and Zeta Captain. But my parents, they called very informally Bobby Fanny and Zeta Louie. Did you ever realize the significance?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And we better eat, so see.